Let's test the brand new Stealth 2 drivers. Does it go any further? Oh, 168, it's a 168! Will it lower your scores? Will it help with your mishits? Forgiveness. Will it go any further than the original Stealth driver? We'll check out the looks and the feels as well. And the big question, is it really worth the money? Let's go and check it out. Forgiveness is this term that TaylorMade are saying the longest, most forgiving driver they've produced, or kind of a mixture of those two ideas. Forgiveness, obviously. Let's show you how I do with my mishits. I use my warm-up session where most of my mishits happen to test the forgiveness. We're definitely using a lot of the face. Look at the ball speeds jumping about. There's a dippy toey, there is a, I mean, that's moving. And that's moving as expected. Like for where I hit it, that's making sense. Already the ball speeds on this club are looking as you'd expect from TM, always. They're like fast. So you can see the strikes, I'm definitely moving it around. The faces, we're definitely seeing jumping ball speeds. Again, we're already seeing in a warm-up fast ball speeds, which is promising for this club. Do I see any improvements in standard deviations? No. As I mishit, they're big. So for me, I think this term is the hardest to sell. I think it's easy to say, harder to sell. I think they are seeing improvements in forgiveness. It'll be very incremental. Can us as testers find that? No, it's anecdotal when people say they can. You need to be hitting thousands of shots with robots to see tiny differences that might not even play out in a round. I think you wouldn't give it away if you want as much forgiveness as you could get. I'm not sure it's any more forgiving than some other clubs out there as well, but that doesn't mean it isn't forgiven. I would say it is forgiving. I'm just not sure we need the made-up name to go with it. So looks are brilliant, as you would expect from TaylorMade. You get two red lipsticks at the back with the HD and the Stealth 2, and then the Plus you get the white or grey or silver or black. Actually, it's a light hitting it. I think it's like a lighter black. Bit of lipstick around the back. They look fantastic. They're shinier than Stealth. Stealth 1 was more matte, Stealth 2's gone shiny, and this kind of shows just what club design's about at the minute. It's got to change. I actually think I prefer the matte finish, but in the comments, which one do you go for and why? Do you like the matte finish or the shiny finish better? What do you reckon? Face has got a little bit redder. Again, it's got to denote that it's new to old, which I understand. But new to old shaping is so close, and you'd want it to be because it has always been one of the best looking drivers out there. Again, TaylorMade for years. They haven't made bad looking drivers. Plus also presents a little smaller down by the ball. Again, not much in it, but it does present that tiny bit more like player shaping. Feel-wise, it's exactly where you would expect it to be with the carbon-ness of this club in the carbon era that we're in. Compared to Stealth original, yes, not much. Maybe this is more carbon sounding and they've moved a fraction away with the new one, but again, you'd have to go and test that to see what your ear is picking up. My ball speeds today are looking mental. Little game at the end. Will I get my 170 today? It's TaylorMade the one to do it. Unless you just absolutely despise TaylorMade or what they do, I can't imagine many people putting that down and not liking the look of it. Again, the red face is maybe a bit brave for some and the red lipstick, but it's just a looks competition. This is going to be up there with the best of them. Oh, it feels super solid as well. Like it does feel crazy solid. That's a sneaky little 164 ball speed. Should we see if the Plus feels any different? Yeah, the Plus feels, again, just crazy solid. Like really good. So I tested it against, I hit Stealth 2 and Stealth 2 Plus, and I also hit the Stealth. So we're going to look at those numbers in a second. I didn't use the HD because it's just not really a club that's built for me. It's a club that is, you would need to test that on someone else. But the techs are all the same. I'm not doubting that it's going to do what it does. I think it absolutely will. And most manufacturers make free heads. The chances of all free heads suiting me obviously would be really, really slim. Once we've done the test, we'll talk about if this club is worth the 500 price tag that it comes out of. Obviously that'll move subject to when you're watching this video, but let's just remember there's plenty of other drivers out in this price tag at the minute. It seems to be becoming the norm with some of the top end manufacturers. So let's just go Stealth Plus against Stealth to kick us off. Does feel super solid, Stealth 2. Like these numbers are, like this is crazy today. Come on, 170 ball speed, today's the day, come on. Obviously Plus gets the old weight for dialing in a little bit more. It does, this one feels stealthier. It does, because it just sits differently. I guess the back of them is different as well. It's like feels a bit higher here. The neat little size. It's like, whoa, these are going to be bullets. I'm feeling this one's going to be quick. Oh, that's a toe. But hang on, it's meant what? Forgiveness. Oh yeah. Oh, this is going to rock some boats. Boats will be rocking. I'm just going to whack Stealth 1 in there as well. So Stealth 2 Plus to kick us off. 3 mile an hour ball speed change from the Plus to the Stealth, which did impress me. It's around 200 to 300 revs less. Again, these standard deviations do overlap, but I think that would repeat. And you can see there's no difference in these carries. If I could repeat that over time, you'd call it 2 yards. But look at the standard deviations, they're far going to outweigh it. I did have more of a variation short and long with Stealth 2, where Plus, obviously, I just ripped a bit more often. Another interesting thing with Stealth 2, in the configuration I've got it set up, and obviously you can change the configuration, I'm pretty neutral, it doesn't feel fadey. You know, often the Plus in many manufacturers feels a little bit cutty. You could obviously set it up that way if it's something that you like. And just to show you the club data there, look, I'm moving them pretty much the same speed. The efficiency is pretty much the same. Launch is pretty much the same. So I am giving them a fair run for the strikes. And what happens if we bung Stealth in there? So Stealth at the top there, it's standing up. It's doing fantastically well. Like, oh, that's just doing superbly good. Is it not? What do you think? Again, club moving the same standard deviations of these all overlap. Look, I mean, their efficiency, so think of efficiency as smash factor for other people. I mean, the Stealth isn't even averaging as good a hit. The original dynamic loft all matching, because obviously I'm fitting each club to me. The 3 heads tested there, 1 old one. I'm just seeing 3 good clubs. Amazing, isn't it, how good the original Stealth still is. Is it further than the old Stealth? I don't, again, you're going to find it impossible to find a difference between old and new. You're just going to have to hit so many shots. By the time you've hit that many shots, another driver will be out. Probably 2 new drivers will be out by then. If you've got a Stealth already, I think you're absolutely fine. If you've got a modern driver already, you're absolutely fine. I do think it's in the faster end of ball speeds, this club. I think TaylorMade always produce up in those faster ends of averages for people, which does make them really high performing. I just think they build them to really tight, thin tolerances. Close to illegal, but they knew they weren't going to go over it when they mass produce, which is hats off to them, I guess. Just before we see if this driver could help you shoot lower scores, I'm going to test it to see if I can get my 170 ball speed, which is something that might help me shoot lower scores. Or 168. If you're liking the video, make sure you hit the like button down below. It really helps the channel out, so thank you for that. And don't be afraid to subscribe as well. And if you've got the little bell icon turned on, you won't miss another great review. Also, before we just jump back, I do a podcast called the Hacking Out Golf Podcast with PGA Tour player Greg Chalmers and our resident stat man, Lou Stagner. We post weekly, great content. If you're into podcasts, check that out. Let's see if this driver could help you improve your golf. So for this test, I'm going to use the Plus and the original Stealth. I think from those numbers, that's the closest I'm going to get in my goal. And I'm feeling like Stealth Plus might do it today. Oh, what do you reckon in the comments? Come on. Here we go. I think this is an interesting idea for you to work out what makes you lower your scores. Is it accuracy? Is it distance? What is it? For me, I can do accuracy as a general rule. I need to push my distance on. So I'm going to do anything I can to find that. That's a little low necky one for me. That is like my worst place to hit it for me. 164 ball. This is happening. This is Stealth 2ing. Forgiveness me. Come on, more far. I can do the giveness. 166. Oh, no, it like that. It's not 163. Oops. No giveness, no far. Forgiveness. That was short Crossfieldness rather than forgiveness. Like, just making up words, aren't they? Or 168. It's a 168. And this is what I mean. This is now the third club that I've tested in the last X amount of months. And people watch my reviews a lot or know which the other two are. I don't want to say what they are because this is a TaylorMade review. I don't want it to be, oh, but you love that brand, all that, well, you hate this brand, I want that. This is now one of three to get into the 168. And this is what makes me say that this is in my higher percentage of averages. We're talking 1-2 mile an hour, and there's so many moving parts that you can't even say that it's longer. It's just, it edges towards the long side of my averages. So what I mean by that, if it push came to shove, had it the longest drive I've ever hit for my life, at the moment there's 3 drivers I'd be pulling. Doesn't mean the ones that are just in my averages aren't good. Because again, you've got to find out what sells you the club. What do you need? Do you need more accuracy? Do you need more launch? Do you need it to go further? You need less spin? What are the things that are going to make you play better? For me, the 170 ball speed, keeping everything else in place, definitely would help me. We're there. We're at that time. That shows you how hard I'm trying. Look, come on. Look at the power to just, in half. And 6.7 again. So after all the tests, is it worth the money? It's worth the money if you want a new driver. It's worth the money if you want something that looks and sounds really good, subject to if you like the carbonness of the feel and the sound. Will it make you play better? Not sure. Will it make it go longer if you've got Stealth 1? No, I think you're doing fine. Is it a really good solid driver? Absolutely. Is it worth the money? Well, that's for you to decide. For me personally, what something is worth to you might not be worth it to me, and vice versa. It's all relative. I think that's where drivers are. There's not much I can do about that. That's kind of where they are. I think in the realms of the competition that it's beating up against, yeah, it's worth the money. Would I spend that much on a driver? Probably not. I would happily go a year or 2 years back because I test and I know the numbers are pretty much the same. Let me know what you think. Let me know what other drivers you want me to compare it up to. So many at the moment out there. We can do whichever ones you want. As always, if you've enjoyed the video, hit that like button. Really helps the channel out. Give that like button a hit and don't be afraid to subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And turn that bell on if you're not getting the notifications when I upload. Thanks for watching. I've not made it. 170, I'm gonna get you.